Hi, and thanks so much for joining me. Today we are doing this look using mostly Charlotte Tilbury. I am featuring one of their new items that they've just released, and it's one of my favorite kinds of products because it's small, but makes a big difference. So if you'd like to see that, please keep watching. So this all came together because of this one new product, and it is the Mesmerizing Maroon Pencil. So it's one of the ones that's got double-sided. I think they came out with maybe 4 of them. But you know how I love a good eyeliner that makes the rest of your makeup more versatile. So in that way, I think you get a lot of bang for your buck on something like this. And I think it's different than most of the eyeliner shades that I have, because most of the shades that I have are either like brownish or bluish, but nothing really like this shade. So I thought this was probably the best one for me to try, and I have it on now. I really just built everything around this, and I wanted to revisit some of the other Charlotte Tilbury items that I have. So I tried to do as much as I could with existing products that I had. And I was reminded of things I loved that I haven't used in a while, so that was kind of fun too. So if you'd like to see that, please keep watching. Okay, let's just go ahead and put some of this on, since I just remembered I had it. It's the Instant Matte Pore Refiner by YSL. But for the rest of the foundation, I'm just going to go ahead and apply directly, because this is one of those foundations that actually I added a little bit of oil, the Clé de Peau. I can't remember which one it is, but I really like it. Multi-use oil, I think it is what it is. I did apply, I had a little bit of dryness down here, and this foundation will catch on pretty much anything that's kind of sticking out there. So otherwise, I find that this one doesn't really need a primer. So this one just takes a little bit to go a long way. And I'm going to take my Shiseido foundation brush and just kind of stipple that on first, especially in those areas where I just added that primer. Then I'm gonna sweep it out a little bit. I'm going to try to avoid my nose. So that's a quick little tip if you didn't know that already. Sometimes it's really hard to get this area to look natural. Mostly I think because it's the first thing really in front of your face. And then there's texture like pores and things like that. So I really try to just avoid, but I have a little bit here, avoid putting too much on my nose. So I just want to go really light with this, because this is a very, like I've said it before, serious foundation. So as little as possible is what I do with this. Oh, I forgot to do half. I know I did it last time and I got feedback that you liked it. So, oh, sorry, I forgot about that. But I'll try and remember with everything else here. Especially, I'm gonna do a little kind of side by side for you with the color corrector, because one of you also mentioned that you noticed I wasn't using that anymore with my concealer, which I typically don't, but I'm going to show you the difference if you do want to take that extra step. I do find if I lay down some foundation here under my eyebrows, it helps with the whole eyebrow makeup placement. Just taking my dampened beauty blender and getting that really as seamless as possible. I'm going to go in now with the color corrector in medium 2, and I'll put it on one side and cover it with concealer, and then I'll conceal the other side with no color corrector, just so you can see the difference, and then I'll probably have to go back and balance it out. So under the eye, so that's just color corrector. I think if they had a concealer of the shade, I would really like it. The shade, but a little bit deeper, I think would be perfect, and I wouldn't actually need 2 things. Again, I have pores in this area, so it's even that much trickier when we're dealing with something like this. I've got to get that color in there pretty evenly. Color corrector side, no color corrector. Let's do this now. We're going to go in with my concealer, and this is the one for my Project Pan, the Magic Away Liquid Concealer. And I put a little line here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little line there, so you can see there's a little bit of movement. I have to really think about pulling for this, because it's just kind of an extra step for me at this point. 7 medium. So right away, I mean, the main difference here, this is a concealer. It's a little bit more dense. It also is a little bit more warm. I don't know if you can tell from here, but it's more matte here than it is with just color corrector. So I actually prefer this finish to this. I think you can see how I would prefer something with more peach versus just a concealer, because it doesn't have that peachy element. It actually kind of looks like the wrong shade too. Yeah, this is just concealer and this side is just color corrector, but I'm going to go over it with concealer now. So what I'm finding, just the side by side, what I can tell you is that I'm doing less concealing here, and it actually looks better than this side, because this is turning a little bit, I've talked about this before, once you add layers of concealer, sometimes it can change the overall color and it starts to look a little green. So I'm seeing a little bit of green coming through here versus with this color corrector. Yeah, it does, it looks so much better with the color corrector, if not just color corrector alone. So what I'm going to do now, I've done this before, is I'm going to go over it with color corrector. I'm going to apply this with my beauty blender, my color corrector. So I'm going to put some of that on the back of my hand, just like this. And then I'm going to take my beauty blender and just bounce it on. As for the color corrector, because I know I had a question about it, do I still use it? I use the Clé de Peau concealer mostly, and between Mocha and sometimes I'll mix a little bit of almond in. It doesn't pull as warm, so it does have a peach quality to it, which is why I don't use this. I would need to use this though if I used something like the Charlotte Tilbury concealer, because it is pulling way warm. So I do need that peachy undertone to kind of bring it back. I'm gonna go get my powder because I want to try the lighter powder under my eyes and then go in with medium, and we'll see how that works. So let me just, of course I forgot it, so I'm gonna grab it. Okay, so I'm back. I actually have this little tester thing that has all 3 colors on there. Fair, whoa, zoom in on my face. So I got this tester, it has all 3, 1, 2, and 3, and I wanted to try 1 for a long time under my eyes because I feel like 2 is too deep, and then put 2 in the rest of my face, and I thought I would try 3 as a contour. I know one of you said that you do that, so I thought I'd try it. I would love to try it. And you also suggested they should probably put that in a pan with all 3 of them, which I think is a very brilliant idea. We're going to take number 1, we're gonna take that one under the eye. I think I like that. I don't know if you can really tell. You kind of just maintain the color. What I found, it's a little brightening too. What I found with the number 2 is that it deepens the under eye area for me, which I don't love. So I have to pick up number 1 now. Number 2 for the rest of my face. I am powdering my nose though, even though I did not put foundation on there. Just using that color corrector and that concealer just harkens back to the time when it took so long for me to do my concealer, because that took longer than it normally does, which I don't like. That's why I just stick to the Clé de Peau, because I really just, it performs every day consistently for me and does what I need it to do, and it doesn't take very long to apply it. So that is why I love that one so much. This was a little bit like high maintenance. I'm going to use the Ultimate Cheekbone Brush, Ray Morris. So I'm going to take that in number 3 here, and let's see what it looks like. Look at that, that's really nice. I thought it was going to look cooler, but it's actually quite warm. Like, that looks like a bronzer on me. I guess I'll at some point have to get number 3 as well, because I just love these powders. Yeah, you can see it defined it too. Really nice. Let me know if it was you who told me that you did this, because this is brilliant. Thank you so much for that idea. So let's go ahead and I'm just taking number 2, my compact here. I'm just buffing everything together. So if you ever get something that's like, I didn't know it was going to deposit that much, so I just want to make sure that they're blended nicely together. So I'm taking that medium shade and just kind of buffing it on with this brush. But what I want to do is my eyebrows. Let's just do this. Brow gel, pencil work. Okay, so now let's go in with blush, and this is in Love is the Drug, my very sad blush. I feel like that was not a good application just because of the fact it's like all crumbly. So I'm gonna take my brush again and just buff that in. This is like the thing that fixes everything, is taking a little bit of powder and buffing it in. It's my like cure-all for everything that's gone wrong on my application. So let's go in with eyes. I really want to try this, but I don't know what to do with it. Not that I don't know what to do, I don't know what to pair it with. So I did take this one out, the Stars in Your Eyes palette. Don't know if it's still available, but very beautiful colors. It reminds me a lot of this color pairing. So maybe I'll just take something neutral like Power Eyes here, this shade, and just put that over my lid, and then we'll go in with the pencil. I want to really see what this pencil can do. I'm taking that, yeah. Oh, that's really pretty. I forgot about this palette. I like it so much. That's what I think I like about this whole using what I have, because I'm being reminded of so many things that I love that I just, you know, when you have a beauty channel, you tend to purchase more than your average person, or maybe not. Maybe some of you purchase just as much, but then you forget about them. So I don't like doing that because I have so many beautiful products. I'm gonna take the bronzer, this one, and I'm going to this Sculpt and Highlight, and I'm going to take the bronzer and I'm just going to put that in the crease here because it's such a beautiful shade for the crease. Okay, yeah, I want to keep it simple so you can see the eyeliner. Okay, finally we're going in with this. So it's two-sided. It's got a shimmery side, it's mesmerizing maroon metallic, and then it has another side that has mesmerizing maroon matte. This reminds me of the Victoria Beckham. Remember there was like a Bordeaux one that I loved, and it looks a little bit more grape though, and then this one doesn't, I mean, it looks more like my sweater than maroon, right? So we're going to go, and I saw this on Instagram. They took this liner and went all the way from the inside. Love the shade. I saw them go on the inside with this matte, like inside and tight lining with it. Now I could see if they tight lined all the way, but let's try it. And then they did a little wing with it. Okay, their wing was not that big. But of course I want to go in the waterline with this. Let's see how it looks. Oh, that's pretty. I'm gonna go in with the matte here just a little bit, and then make sure that it's deep in the waterline there. Kind of like we did with the Chanel eyeliner where we took the deeper one and just put it on the outer V. Pretty. So there's the difference, and that's just this eyeliner. So I can't wait to see what it looks like with mascara. So I'm just gonna repeat on the other side. Now the reason I don't do wing most of the time is because they are usually uneven. Okay, nice. So I'm going to put on mascara and let's see how it looks. I just curled my lashes, but I wanted to show you this because it's the Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes. And I'm going to put this primer on. It's a Lancome primer, which I haven't tried before. So I just have a little sample, but I thought I should try it. You know how I love the Dior 3D Maximizer, but it's always good to try, but I like to try sample size first so I don't waste too much if I don't like it. Full Fat Lashes. And I do prefer this to the other mascara that she has because the other one, I loved how it applied, but it would smudge on me. These are like fluffy lashes if you like that. There's one coat. Okay, let me finish off the other eye, but I just wanted to show you what that looked like on. Almost done here. I think we just need a lip. So I brought Pillow Talk, but I'm wondering if that's going to be too light. I also brought my favorite one from last year, Glowing Gen. I think maybe we should try Glowing Gen. It looks kind of similar to the, not that you have to match, but it reminds me of this color. Oh, that's really pretty. But let's put Pillow Talk just in the middle. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, that looks nice. I think I like that. And I actually curled my hair today. I'm noticing though that I need a little bit of like something right here. So I am taking the Film Star Bronze and Glow and I'm going to just add it here. Like I said, I really feel like this looks best when I have a tan. But if I go lightly with it, it's okay. So with the finished look, I love these shades for the eyeliner. I like that it's two-sided because, you know, I've actually been talking about this using two different eyeliners, like a lighter one here and then a deeper one in that outer V section. So this is perfect for that idea. I'm interested in the other shades now, of course. And I will watch for you in terms of smudging because That is like the one thing, even if it colors really beautiful, if it smudges too much, then it's just difficult to wear. So I'll watch that for you. In terms of the other products, yeah, if you're interested in that foundation, just know that if you have dry skin, dry patches, you're going to want to moisturize quite a bit before that. I always will use that Clé de Peau oil with that particular foundation. I don't need much primer with it. Color corrector, I hope I was able to show you the power of the color corrector. And for me personally, I really just use it based on the concealer I'm using. So that color corrector is necessary for this particular concealer because that concealer is very yellow based, and so you could see the difference. And I would actually prefer just to wear the color corrector by itself if I had to choose one. So I don't use the color corrector every day now though, because I still love my Clé de Peau. And when I use Clé de Peau, I don't need that because it does pull a little bit more peach. So that's the reason I don't really use that as much with other concealers, especially if they have a peach tone to them. So this particular concealer, the number 7 warm, is that what it's called? 7 medium? Yeah, it's number 7 medium, pulls too warm for me. So that's why I need to use it with that. Otherwise, I don't need it if there's a peach element to the concealer itself. So I hope that helps you with the color correcting, but I really do love it, and I love to finish more than the concealer because it was a little bit more dewy than the concealer. Concealer was a little bit more matte on me. The powders, oh my gosh, I love using all the powders. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up all 3 of them at some point. At some point I will, not now, but I will, just because I loved the way it all came together. And then I can't say anything bad about their lipsticks or blushes. They're all, I mean, I haven't run into one that I haven't liked. So that is it for Charlotte Tilbury. That's why this is one of my favorite lines. I might not pull for everything every day, but they're all really reliable. So I think that's one thing about Charlotte Tilbury makeup that I really love, is that it's very reliable. It does what it says it's going to do, and it lasts. Skincare, if you've seen my skincare ones on Charlotte Tilbury, some of the items haven't worked out too much for me, but their makeup works out really well for me. So thanks again for practicing social distancing to flatten that curve. And please again, take care of each other, stay well. And if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks.